Joining us now is Dr. Erroll Southers. He's a former FBI agent and is currently the director of Safe Communities Institute at USC. Dr. Southers is also an internationally recognized expert on counterterrorism, public safety, infrastructure protection, and homeland security. And of course, tonight we want to talk to him about what happened early Christmas morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Doctor, first of all, thank you for being here.
Sure, thank you for having me.
All right, the FBI seems pretty sure they've got their guy. From what you've been able to learn over the past couple of days, do you agree with them?
Yes, it's absolutely been confirmed that Anthony Quinn Warner did perish in the bombing. There's a DNA match that was conducted, and it was confirmed on the site in Nashville, Tennessee, as well as confirmed at the FBI Academy at Quantico, Virginia. So he is the person that perished in the bombing.
All right, a lot of speculation as to exactly how this all went down. First of all, taking out 4 city blocks like that is a stunning amount of explosive power. And also, he seems to have gone out of way to not hurt people, but yet destroy something. What can you glean from the little information we have just based on the scenario in which this went down?
Well, you put some interesting facts forth. Let's just go through his history. In 1993, he had an explosives handling permit. So this individual was at least familiar with explosives. At the same time, he's been described as an electronics and alarm system expert. So there's obviously some kind of technical expertise as it relates to electronics. So we put the two together, and we have a person who possibly, not just possibly, but has the capacity to build a bomb. What's interesting about it, again, is the motive. You know, why do this? And what message was he trying to send? You know, he puts it in an RV, moves it to a location on Christmas Day, early enough in the day that no one probably would be there, and then has an audible announcement to get people out of the area so no one would get hurt. Very interesting.
Interesting, but it leaves really more questions than answers. If you're trying to make a statement and you're willing to give your life to make this statement, but you don't want to hurt people, boy, don't you want that statement to be written down someplace or get your message out? This is bizarre in that we don't know what the hell he did it for.
You bring up a very interesting point. So let's just think about some of the things you just said. Here's a person who was obviously intent on committing suicide and didn't want to commit suicide and go out anonymously. So what does he do? He builds an explosive device. He puts it into an RV. He takes it into a metropolitan area and detonates the vehicle, and killing himself on Christmas Day. So he becomes worldwide news, and he did. The question now, to your point, is what's the message? So I would imagine that what they're looking for now is some kind of online information. And by the way, the FBI admits the online investigation is ongoing to see what kind of last will and testament, or if you will, what kind of manifesto did he leave to describe why he did this and what his motivation was.
Right, and we know that he planned on doing this and dying because he'd given his house away. So that much information we know for sure. But again, unless there's a manifesto someplace, if he was trying to make a message, he kind of swung and missed there.
Yeah, that is interesting. However, there is this, at least somewhat of a connection to his father. You know, his father worked for Bell South, which eventually was acquired and became AT&T, and his dad passed away in 2011. So what the FBI will be looking at is to see, is there any adverse employment history between his dad and AT&T that would have him go to that spot? I mean, of all the locations in downtown Nashville, he chose to park in front of that building. I don't think that's a mistake or an accident or an opportunity. I think he planned to do that.
Now, he's being described as a lone wolf, which for most people just means he acted alone. But doesn't it also at some level imply that he may have acted alone, but he's part of a larger group?
That certainly can be the case, and I'm one who never uses the term lone wolf. I mean, people have to understand you don't have to have a membership card to belong to an extremist or organization or ideology. He could be part of a larger group. That is something that will certainly be explored. At this point, there are no other credible threats to Nashville that we know of, and no other threats that we know of attached to him. But you're absolutely correct. He could be connected. The FBI is not ruling out domestic terrorism at this point. But today, right now, we do not have an ideology or a motivation, be it political, religious, or some issue orientation that suggests that he did this in furtherance of those issues.
Let me ask you this. I'm not sure anyone can answer it, but had this person been of Middle Eastern descent and done the exact same thing, do you think the reaction would have been different?
I think the interaction would be demonstrably different. Well, first of all, we would have had a person that we could attach to an outside ideology or an international organization. So that ramps it up significantly and we would not be calling him a person of interest. We'd be calling him a terrorist suspect.
Dr. Erroll Southers, thank you so much for your time and expertise, sir. We look forward to speaking to you again, hopefully on something a little less dramatic.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.